no content because they're playing a game that has a finite amount of content from 16 years ago. Guess what? They run out of things to talk about or do. And so they think of like this new idea, and it's like, well, you're gonna play the game without dying. So it adds in flavor to something that doesn't really have any to begin with. No, between me and Stay Safe comes in spamming to everyone about your hardcore tank. I mean, he's just probably like, the thing is, the people that try to start drama between streamers, I don't really ever, I dislike those people. I mean, of course, like everybody dislikes them. That's why they're doing it in the first place, is because they don't know anybody or have anybody that wants to interact with them in real life. So this is just what they do. But yeah, these are people that are mentally ill or are like super parasocial viewers, and they need to create like conflict between streamers because they don't have any friends in real life. Like that's really what that's all they are. It's happening all day. Yeah, it's super cringe. And the thing is, like I will watch, I'll definitely watch like the even dungeon runs at like hardcore, because as I said, I'll only watch them for the NASCAR effect. I'm only gonna watch them waiting for the person to die. You know, like, and that sounds fucked up, but like that's really what it is. Like, I just want to watch and see somebody die. So I really disagree with about hardcore. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I think most people that don't get their ego from the game understand where I'm coming from. But I think there are some people that, you know, a big part of their ego is the game, and because of that, they took it personally. That's it. No single person had no friends at all. Yeah, I mean, I think these are people that are just like socially isolated. Like no friends at all or whatever is kind of, it's maybe an exaggeration, but I think you know what I'm saying. They had a real hardcore mode. Is it still on our system? There's some guys that use an add-on, and then there's other guys that just use the Soul of Iron buff. I think that the add-on is cringe, and I think that just do the Soul of Iron buff like what the game has on its own. That's my take on it. Bro, I have so many of these maritime place settings. Holy fuck. So you're not salty? It wasn't you who made Road to Ragnaros? Well, let me ask you a question. Why would I be salty that I didn't make Road to Ragnaros? Yeah, why would I be? Yeah, I'm just kind of curious about this. Why'd I get muted for saying come play WoW? Because it's annoying for me to have people come into my stream and tell me what to do. Constantly, and tell me what to play. I understand that every individual person might be doing it, you know, relatively innocently, but from my perspective it can be annoying. I'm sure you didn't mean anything bad with it, but that's just, you know, it's exhausting for someone like me to deal with. No, I really want to know why. Like the person who asked that never made a follow-up response either. So I'm going to assume that that was probably just a troll question. Yeah, maybe it was bait. I don't know. Depends. Oops. Take it as you're watching a streamer, you're watching a personality, not necessarily gameplay. People watch for different stuff, man. I don't really try to think too much into it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I just like, I don't really think the classic WoW community like has much of a. I feel like it's everything about it is kind of like played out, and the only good content that comes out of classic WoW is like raid drama, and like that's not even good content. That's just like Jerry Springer content. That's like a guilty pleasure. You know what I mean? Classic WoW Black Pill. Yeah, I loved like even now like I'll watch like classic WoW like drama videos. Cause like to me like it's even funnier now. Because like okay, this game has been out for fucking 16 years, like everybody knows like how to do every single boss, and like these guys are like still doing it wrong. And it's just like then they're fighting with each other about it. Like it's so fucking funny, man. I love it. Coveney just swapped from green to yellow, took an asshole, Rand's Windward down, everything else in the map. There it is, dude. There it is. Yeah, carried whole max. That's hard to really get carried. I mean, it's really hard to get carried in classic WoW because the game is so easy. Like, I'll say this, if there were 40 of me in a raid, we'd never wipe. Like, it would just never happen. So, like, actually, no, it's not true. I'd probably be AFK for half of them. But, it would just never happen. Can you heal, though? I mean, I could heal in classic WoW, yeah. There we go. Sparing greater heal rank 3 isn't that hard. No, I don't really think it is. How much are you looking forward to Elden Ring? I'm really looking forward to it. I hope that they have like more multiplayer and like open world aspects. It'll keep the game fresh for a long period of time. I mean, you know, like obviously I think that like the priority for a FromSoft game should be to make the experience that people expect to have from a FromSoft game. But that doesn't mean, at least in my mind, that it can't also have other elements to it as well. What the fuck? That every FromSoft game has to be a Souls clone? Well, I think so, but like what I'm saying is like I wouldn't want them to compromise their vision in order to appeal to something that's outside of what they want to make their genre of the game, if that makes sense. It fixes on chest reset. Oh, great. I guess I'll have to come back here in an hour then. Yeah, great. Why does OTK keep bringing in toxic people? I like Tectone a lot. I think he's a funny guy. Is he abrasive? Yeah. But is Tectone like a toxic person? No, I don't think so at all. He's a funny guy. Did you look into his past? Yeah, of course. What are you not happy that Tectone did? And I think also, like, I don't really care what somebody did like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, if they're not banned on Twitch, it probably wasn't that bad. And I'm not really gonna hold people accountable for like something they did like a long time ago for some bullshit reason. He's a giant. Yeah. Tectone's like 6'4", so he's a tall guy. Alright, let's go up here. I think the problem is the Genshin community on Twitter too. The thing is, to me, like, if I have people that are like that, because like I've obviously had that happen too, I just block them. Like, that's the way I handle pretty much everybody who is like, who tries to like be hostile towards me. I just block them immediately. I don't want to read it, I don't want to see it, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeeted and deleted. Just talking about the Moena thing. Yeah, that blew up a lot. Like, I don't know, to me, I guess like people probably ask me about this a lot, etc. But the way I look at it is, it was like a situation where like everybody was kind of wrong. It was kind of wrong for like S-Fan to like jump in there and try to like tell Minx what to do, because like Minx is a grown adult woman. She should have the agency to make her own decisions. It was Minx's fault for not just telling S-Fan that she wasn't on like the oxycodone or whatever. And I think it was Moina's fault for like not just like waiting to see what happened. I think like kind of everybody was in the wrong. And that's my opinion on it. There we go. S-Fan didn't do anything wrong. I don't think he should have like tried to go in there and like stop her from doing something if Minx was like okay with Moena doing it. Because like these are two grown adults. It's not his place to step in like that. I think that it's okay to like bring it up. And like, for example, I'll kind of like I guess I'll contrast it with the way that like I handled it. So yeah, it's like, it's okay to like bring it to light and to be, you know, to say like, you know, this shouldn't happen or whatever, but to like forcibly stop somebody from doing something, I don't really think that's what you should do. Two grown adults makes an ass on a live stream. Yeah, I thought it was a mistake, and Minx wasn't even on the drugs. It was just kind of like a meme. But it's definitely not a good meme. Was we stopping Moena, not Minx though? Yeah. It was a stupid meme? Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's what happens, right? I mean, you go on a stream and, you know, you have like a bunch of people constantly like trying to do funny stuff, etc. And I mean, you're gonna have jokes that just kind of go, you don't really go over that well for different reasons. And that's just kind of the way things go. She didn't even deny it's questionable why she's outing now, or she wasn't on drugs. Minx wasn't on drugs. She wasn't on Oxycontin for 2 days. The way I know that is that, so after she left, well, you know, like how after she, what do you call it? After like that whole thing happened, I had her sit next to me. The reason why I had her sit next to me was so I could try to like make sure she didn't drink alcohol, because like I didn't know if this was like, if this was real or not, you know, so I could like convince her not to do that. And that's the first thing. And then after she left, I actually I messaged her to see like if she was okay and everything was good. And I went over to S-Fan's house to check on her. And then after she wasn't there, I found out like where she was. And then after the show, I went and I talked to her, and we talked for like maybe like almost an hour. And just to make sure that like everything was okay and there was nothing weird or bad going on. But I think it's like an instance where it was like a pretty badly miscommunicated joke, and it's a situation where it just really shouldn't have happened, I think. And I don't like jokes like that. I mean, you guys know, for me, like, I don't drink any alcohol at all. I don't do any drugs at all. I mean, even if I'm in like a lot of pain, like I basically have to, like, unless the pain is causing me like additional effects, like, you know, like super increased heart rate or something like that because of how much pain I'm in, I will just endure the pain. I will not take any sort of prescription medication at all, because that's how freaked out drugs make me. So, like, even whenever I got my teeth pulled out, I took like half of one hydrocodone and that was it. Because I'm just like, it freaks me the fuck out. And anyway, so that's not something that I really like, but I try to let people just like go on the stream and kind of do whatever. And that's generally what I always do. Sometimes like things can happen where there's like a joke that doesn't really go the right way, and the tone is weird and it kind of throws the vibes off, and it happens just like really fast. And it kind of sucks, like whenever you have like a live broadcast and you can't like edit that stuff out, or, you know, like pause or, you know, something and just talk about it for a second. I thought it was real. Well, I didn't know if it was real or not, and that's why I reached out to her and tried to make sure that everything was okay. Because like I just I don't really know, like I don't know Minx very well. Like this is like the first time I've ever really like met her or talked to her before. So it's really important to me to make sure that people that come to my events and, you know, are part of events for my org are you know, as safe and happy and comfortable as they can be. So if I ever feel like somebody has an experience that is different than that, I try to fix it as much as possible. If it was real, you'd be the last person to admit it, because that'd be a bad PR move. Well, the truth is that even if it was real, Minx has she's a grown adult. If she wants to, you know, take Oxy and get fucked up and drink, like that's her own choice. It's stupid, and it shouldn't happen, but that's her own decision. You're not on stream now? Yeah, it was a bad joke, definitely. Friends at stake. I don't think it's that big of a deal, personally. I think people just blow stuff out of proportion because they feel like they can make people take things more seriously, and it gives them like a sense of power by like freaking out about something. And it's like, okay, if we freak out about this and get really upset about it, it kind of gives us collective power because we're able to influence people. Maybe with someone care about overdose addictions, not or something to joke about, etc. I don't know. I mean, like, if you want to make a thing where you can't joke about like anything that could affect people adversely, it's just like you wouldn't be able to joke about anything at all. And also, like, I think it's very different whenever somebody is like making a joke about themselves that they're very clearly comfortable with. Wasn't a joke. Making a joke about mixing oxy and alcohol to be funny. That's PR damage control. So like what you think is that Minx was actually on Oxycontin, and Milena was trying to like force feed her alcohol, and S-Fan was just trying to be a good guy and help her. Like, what do you think? Here's the thing, is that if Minx actually was on Oxy or anything like that and she decided to drink alcohol, that's on her. She can do what she wants. Yeah, I mean, that's on her. Not on events though? Yeah, well the thing is that to me, like, as I said, it's literally this simple. It was a joke that she did, and her and Milena were okay with it, and S-Fan stepped in and inserted himself into the joke and made it seem weird when it's not really his place to do that. And I can see why he did it, but it's ultimately not his life to live. And I think that's all it comes down to for me. S-Fan, no, it was a joke. No, I don't think he did. I didn't either. That's why I reached out to her later on. So stop a friend from driving drunk. This is not the same as driving drunk. S-Fan was not in the wrong. I think that he was, and I think all three of them were in the wrong. I think that, again, like, Minx was in the wrong for trying to like go with the joke. Milena was in the wrong for going along with it. S-Fan was in the wrong for inserting himself into it without really knowing what's going on. I think that they were all in the wrong. That's really all there is to it to me. You did the normal reaction? No. Imagine not inserting yourself into saving someone's life because it might be a joke and they die and you did nothing. I just like, to me, the reason why I don't like whenever people do that is because like they don't really know like what's a joke and what's not a joke and everything like that, and it was like a mistake to do that. And it's like she wouldn't have died. Like the way that I look at everything is that if people are gonna do some stupid shit, it's their life, they can do what they want. That's all there is to it. So I'm messing up a joke by saying someone's life is wrong. I think that you guys aren't really seeing the point that I'm making with being controlling and telling somebody what they can and can't do whenever they're an adult, and then trying to like forcibly stop people from doing things. I don't do that, and the fact is that like Minx is an adult and she has the agency to make decisions for herself, and it's not up to S-Fand. It has nothing to do with him. I understand that he thinks that he's helping, but it's not his decision. It's not his choice. And he doesn't get to make that decision for her. That's all there is to it. Fuck. He didn't want stupid shit happening. This is his house. To be fair, it was not his house. Let's say your friend is choking and playing a bit you didn't know, you leave him alone? No, because he's not, like, choking is involuntary. That's like a bad example. He's not doing something on purpose. A lot of weird false equivalency, Andy, here. Yeah, I mean, like, listen. Yeah, I was concerned about it too, because I didn't really know what was going on. And like, the way I handled it was I asked Minx to sit next to me, and I was going to try to prevent her from like drinking, because I didn't know like what was happening. And then I went over to the house to check on her. And later on, I DM'd her to see if she was okay, and then I had a conversation with her after the stream about it. So I mean, it's not like I don't care. It's just that the way I handle something like that isn't by forcibly telling somebody what not to do or something like that. I try to help them and do what I can. Think smart, nice move, yeah. You know, prevent her from drinking isn't exactly what S-Fan did. Oh, I didn't know it was going to happen. The thing is, like, I always expect that I can convince people out of doing something that I want them to not do, or the other way around. Like, I trusted myself that I could convince her not to do it, and if I couldn't do it, then nobody could do it. So it's like, I trusted myself to make the best decision possible. S-Fan shouldn't have done anything because he's lesser than you? No, but whenever you do something and it's like, it puts somebody on the spot, and it makes people look bad, and it takes something that's that's a joke, that you're not really in on the joke. And again, I think this was a bad joke. Like, it definitely was a bad joke. But, like, I can see why S-Fan handled it that way. I understand it. But it's just not how I would handle things. I don't know how many other ways I can explain it. Reddit moral high roading. That's kind of the way it feels like to me. If there's one thing I've learned is that people on the internet that have never met you always seem to have like every solution for what you should and shouldn't have done whenever it's people that you've never met and they have no idea what's going on at all. I think that a lot of times people, they watch streams a lot, and in the process of watching streams a lot, they think that they know the people, or they think that they're part of it, and they're really not. And so, like, they don't really know me or S-Fan or Minx. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They don't know what's okay and what's not okay, etc. Joining S-Fan under the bus, and Melinda's the one who fucked everything over. Getting shit-faced with a sponsored event. She wasn't shit-faced. She was fine. They're just goofing around, having fun. It's just people that... It's just, these are the same people that tell me that, like, I'm high. Remember back, like, this would happen a lot whenever I would get off, like, my mainstream, and then I would be, like, on the Q&A with Rich. And people would constantly say that I'm high or on drugs and stuff like that, just because I'm not talking the same way that I am on my stream. I think that, like, you have to understand is that a lot of times whenever we're doing a stream like that, we're trying to put on a show to an extent. So things are exaggerated and played up, and it's just a lot of goofing around. I think that's what it comes down to. As soon as you choose to stream parts of your life, be prepared for people to comment on it. You're immune to criticism just because you're streaming. I don't think that I expect people to think that, like, that they can't criticize or anything like that. I think it's pretty fair to say that it was a pretty weird champ joke, you know. It definitely was. But at the same time, I think that, you know, inserting yourself into somebody else's life and telling them what they can and can't do without really having full information about what's happening. Like, Minx should not have to explain to S-Fan if she's on Oxy or not, just because S-Fan thought that she was. It's not, he's not part of that interaction. Like, she should not have to explain to him and tell him that it's okay, or anything like that. He's not a cop. He's not her dad. They're not married. She's a grown woman. She told him she was on his stream. The way that they had explained it, because I had like an hour-long conversation with her about the whole thing, was that she was under the impression that he knew that she was not on the stuff because she stopped taking it and she went somewhere to get new medication. So she kind of just assumed that he would know that. But again, it's like, it shouldn't really have anything to do with S-Fan to begin with. We're good. Definitely seems like a little thing failure for anything what you, I believe, is self-harm is now bad now. It's not preventing what you believe is self-harm. It's acting on an assumption that's not true and then expecting other people to have to explain to you why that's not true. It's basically like the entire assumption on it is that S-Fan knows what's best for her and everything like that. I think that's really weird. Responsibility to make sure it doesn't communicate happen on stream. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Okay. Fuck. There we go. Yeah, S-Fan's not her doctor and everything like that. That's, oh, I think that one actually is good. That sconce thing. I'm gonna have to look it up. Should be retarded and harmful tech. Well, the thing is, to me, doesn't have to be a doctor. Well, she wasn't on the drugs. So that's the thing. Like, she wasn't on the drugs. And S-Fans was like forcing it himself into the situation, insisting that she was. S-Fan didn't know that. No, and it's not... it's not his place to know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to, like, these things don't have to occur under his approval. I don't think that you guys understand that. Like, she's an adult. Like, nothing bad happened to begin with. And S-Fan, his read on the situation shouldn't have anything to do with it to begin with. Yeah, it's not his place. Fuck. What's about it is live. S-Fan didn't stop inserting himself. They thought they were both clearly okay with the situation. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, like, I understand why S-Fan did what he did, right? Like, I get it. But, at the same time, you have to see kind of what I'm saying, too, is, like, these are two people, these are adults, and there's nothing that was bad happening, and she wasn't taking it at all. It was just his assumption that she was, and, I don't think it's really, like, on him to, like, or on her to, like, explain it to him or anything like that. But again, like, it was a stupid joke anyway. So it shouldn't have happened to begin with. You think shit like that and you're uncomfortable with it, you can remove yourself from the situation easily? Yeah, I mean, there's a communication error and people overreacting about it. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, I've always had the position that I don't really, like, I try to lead people in the right direction, and I try to get them to do the right thing, regardless of, like, what it is or anything. But there's, like, I never really try to control people or tell them what they can and can't do. I think what makes S-Fan more in the right is that Milena was pushing it, not Minx doing it unsolicited on her own. Of course she was okay with it. That's why she was laying there with her mouth open, letting it happen. She was laughing along with it, totally okay with it. Like, both of them were just goofing around. Yeah, it's the biggest overreaction of the year. Yeah, I think it's a bit much. Like, I'd have to go back and look at it again and explain it and look at it for myself. Doesn't matter if it is or not. What matters is how it's perceived by the audience. Her drinking while taking Oxy was the implication, and S-Fan's right to prevent that. Was that like, did she say that she was on Oxy? Like, I don't remember, like, everything happened like really fast. Like, maybe I can rewatch it again and see. I don't really remember. Picked it up from CVS. She said she got Oxy. Yeah, I'd have to watch the stream and see for myself. She did on S-Fan stream multiple times. Yeah, I mean, they were just goofing around. And it's the same thing as like the Trainwreck's Coke thing or whatever. Like, as I said, like, I don't do drugs. I don't like drugs and everything like that, but it's different if it's not real. You didn't know they were goofing around? What I don't think that you understand is that it's not his place for them to need his approval to goof around. Do you understand? Yeah, it's like, she's a grown woman. It wasn't happening. Everything was fine. It was a bad joke. It's not his place to insert himself into something between like Minx and Milena that's just a bad joke. Do you know it was a joke? Well, I think that he clearly did not know it was a joke and he thought it was real. Minx says that she was like motioning for him to like stop and that it was fine. And I'd have to go back and look at it myself. Don't take sorry as your friend. I was interviewing with my friend, does such an idiotic thing such as Mink did. I know everybody has like what they think that they would do in a situation that they weren't in, but I don't really care what somebody thinks that they would do in a situation that they weren't in between three people that they don't know. That's just weird. Doesn't just let our friends die. And this is the kind of like, this is the kind of problem that whenever you try to talk about something like this, is that people usually like 0 to 60 this kind of stuff, and they think that like the only option is that like you have to like immediately, you know, do what he did or let the person die or something like that, which is just, I don't know, like I just feel like the whole, it's just like really cringe how, and like I get why some people get bothered by it, and like this is why I said it's a bad joke. Like you just shouldn't joke around with stuff like that, because like people don't really know what's going on. It just looks bad. But yeah, one sucks. You know, as I said, like I tried to deal with it the way that I thought was the right way to deal with it. And I try to do the right thing and do whatever I think is the smartest and best option to help people out and do what I think is right. Yeah. This review, relationship, working second account. May have been wrong. Discreet. S-Fan did. Don't make medication. Just made the best choice in the situation, that's all. Yeah, I mean, I just think that again, like it was just a bad joke. Knowing what S-Fan would have thought, how would he have handled it? To ask her privately, mention his concern, make sure she's okay. Yeah, like that's what I did, is that as soon as it happened, I tried to talk to her privately about it, and I checked on her later on to make sure that she was okay. So, that's what I did. Yeah, it's pretty much just that simple to me. This one didn't stop it. You're talking to her afterwards when I'd done much. If Sirius is actually taking the oxy. Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure everything was okay, because I didn't really know what was going on. How many more times did chat say you just let your friends OD and die, bro? What the fuck? Yeah, I know. Like, it's really kind of weird because, like, this is the... Graph me full void ban. I got mats and feet. Yeah, sure. Okay. At Windsward? Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it. When I literally said on stream she hadn't taken meds in 3 days. Yeah. It didn't even happen. Okay. There we go. Was this the guy, or is this somebody else? Oh, here we go. Alright. We'll make the first one. Shit's polarizing, what can you do? I think people just try to insert themselves too much into something that really just was a really stupid miscommunication. That's just about it to me. People always know, like they think they know like what you should have done or what you shouldn't have done or whatever. And it's just really kind of exhausting to deal with that. Because you have like thousands of people trying to you have like thousands of people trying to like microanalyze what you're doing, and Wait a second, just sorry, let me focus here. I need the infused fur. Yeah, trade me the infused fur. It's just, it's really hard to keep track of that kind of stuff, right? And like know what's happening or any of this stuff, because it's just like, I don't think that you understand, and this is kind of like one of the biggest things is that, and this is something that people can't really understand unless they stream, is that it's extremely stressful to have to worry about every single little interaction that you have with another person online being like micro-analyzed, and the effects of like a bad joke that gets miscommunicated turning into like a, you know, a hate thread of people that are constantly trying to tell you that you're like a terrible person, and like and it's like, it's not even an exaggeration. It's like you have people that are literally taking what I'm saying and saying that it's, you know, that I'm okay with people dying. There's like no middle ground. There's no like measured response to this at all. Like it doesn't matter if like I have another way of handling it or I want to handle it another way. It doesn't matter at all. It's just that people will immediately assume that you want other people to die. And okay, we'll do the helmet as well. You can just trade me the other 3. I didn't realize how annoying this was going to be to do all 3 of them. Yeah, just trade me the mats for the other 3. Yeah, I do need lodestones. Let me do this first, though. You didn't watch SFN stream yesterday? She was on drugs. It's nuts. I think people place a little bit too much value in how... Wait, let me make sure I'm making the right ones. So I have the helmet and the breastplate are made. I don't want to make you 2 of the same one. Helmet. All right, we're going to make the sabatons. I have to focus on this 100% because I swear to God, if I mess this up, I'm going to hate myself. Okay, sabatons, gauntlets. Okay, we're going to make those, and then we're going to make the legs. I'm going to cheat a bit for 2 days. Talk about Oxy. A lot of us know people will die due to the opioid epidemic. It's not a bad take because I know more than you do about the situation. I can understand why you would think that it's a bad take, and I can respect that, and that's why I said that it's a bad joke. But I knew more about the situation, and so I was okay with it. And this is what I was saying before, is that like these are people that you don't know. You've never met these people at all. And you're so sure that you're wrong, or that I'm wrong. Thank you, man. Let's make sure I got out all the items. Okay, yeah. I do need lodestone. This is viewers should assume what's happening behind the scenes. I don't think there's really a point. Wait, what the fuck are these? Okay, thanks. I don't know what I'm going to use those for, but great. I've always had the perspective that... Is there a chance Mink lied to you to save face? Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like, I don't think that happened. I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. But I mean, of course there's a chance of that. I just don't think that's what happened. Don't random people on the internet judge the situation? Why people stream the situation? Well, I don't know. I think that, like, this is kind of like what happens is that, I think you can expect to, you can want to stream content and stuff like that and not want to have everything that you do micro-analyzed and then assume to be the worst possible scenario, and then have people bandwagon hate you for promoting that worst possible scenario. Like, that's just, it's exhausting. Like, if it just is. You can in both worlds. You invite the Pelican, you get what comes with it. I think to a certain extent you should expect that, but whenever you are contributing to like an overreaction to something, even after it's been explained, I think that there should be some level of personal responsibility. I don't see anything saying you're wrong, just don't agree S-Fan was wrong. You guys don't really see any validity in what I'm saying about how it would be off-putting for Minx to have to explain things to S-Fan because he's not like he's not really responsible for her in the same way. Like, because I think that's kind of weird to like have a person that's like not a relative or anything like that like insert themselves into your personal life and then make assumptions about it and then get angry whenever that stuff isn't happening. I think that's weird, and I do think that S-Fan was trying to do a good thing, but you have to understand that there's a dark side to trying to do a good thing sometimes, and it is controlling to do that. And it's not always like doing things for people's best interest and doing things because you think it's for their own good is not always what you should do and not always the way that you should handle things. Like I've had a lot of friends that are like involved in drugs and stuff like that, and it's really hard to deal with stuff the right way. And you never really know what the right way is, and it's like with this situation, I just try to do my best, and that's all you can really ever hope for. Like, if you want me to be completely honest, that I generally don't like loud drinking parties in general. I don't enjoy them. They're off-putting to me. They're anxiety-inducing, and they're just in general stressful. Like, I hate being in like a living room of people where everybody is talking louder because nobody will stop talking and wait for the other person to talk. It makes me extremely uncomfortable, and I really don't like it. You have a decent conversation in that environment? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really asking people to, like, I think it's a situation where it was just like it was just like really weird, like in general, and like I honestly, like, this is my honest opinion. Like, I would be completely okay if we never had alcohol at another OTK event again. I would be totally fine with that. I don't like alcohol. I've never liked alcohol. I don't like people that drink a lot of alcohol. I don't like being around drunk people. I dislike it in general, and I feel the same way about drugs outside of smoking weed. I think smoking weed is pretty much fine. But just in general, it makes me extremely uncomfortable to be around people like that, and I've always felt that way. Whenever I was a lot younger, I went to a lot of college parties, and you know, like with Eric and Cody and Jeff and Jared and fucking like Alec, Jason. I think we still have a video of like Jason sitting in like a full bathtub drinking Jack Daniels with all of his clothes on, and like the bathtub's full of water. And like, I mean, we did this for years, right? Like, I mean, I'm talking like years and years and years. And I just never enjoyed it. And I always feel like alcohol brings out the worst in people. And I don't know. I don't like it. Like, that's all there is to it. I just don't like it. And that's all there is to it. But, I mean, people can do what they want because, you know, they can do what they want. If anybody has any lodestone, let me know. Okay, let's see here. How many do we get? Oh, wow, that's a lot of bonus. Oh, fuck yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll be able to make, yeah, 297, fuck yeah. Alrighty, here we go. Awesome, 149. So, at 150, I get, what do I get at 150? Obsidian Voidstone. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think I'm ever going to use the coarse sandpaper. You can hold on to that for now. Yeah, you can hold on to the coarse sandpaper, because I have a lot of the blue ones. But, yeah, I'm very much a straight edge kind of guy. And I always have been. And I do think that it's a... it's just like, it's not something I like. I just don't like being around it. I don't like people that are around it a lot. I just don't like dealing with it. So we need more lodestone. Oh nice, I'm 150. Okay. 159. Does anybody have any of these just sitting around? Yeah, if there's somebody that has some of these sitting around, like, I could definitely fucking use that right now. This is such a big deal. People always look for something to get mad about and get upset about. Things that can make people outraged or upset or angry are always very popular. I think that there's a... I think that, like, the problem with, like, so much stuff online, and I think this might be kind of... It might be weird to hear this from me, but, like, the reality is I am a extremely, like, relaxed and, like, easygoing and just very reasonable person. And I don't really try to blow things out of proportion. I am very reserved. I try to be polite in real life situations, and just in general, I'm a pretty mellow guy. And it can be kind of exhausting whenever I feel like everything always gets dialed up to 11. Where it's like, if I say, like, everybody was kind of in the wrong, people, like, assume that